Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tomfoolery and Hullabaloo, the show where we like to take the universe's biggest topics and somehow make them even bigger.
Well, we have to over-exaggerate them. I mean, that's just what we do, right?
Well, today we're shooting for the moon, literally. In fact, as we record this, 4 human beings are on their way to orbit the moon for the first time in over 50 years. We've got questions for Scott, debate lists, news from the cosmic desks, and enough space to fill a rocket.
Did you watch the live stream with them last night or this morning, whenever it was?
I did not.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
I bet it is.
One of the guys was in there and he's like, "This is so exciting. I wish I could have gotten here faster.
Yeah.
I feel like a little kid up here," which is, I feel like, what I would say if I was in space for the first time.
Absolutely. What's crazy is to have a 50-year drought of this. So there's generations of astronauts who
Almost
never got to
unbelievable.
fulfill this dream. But there was a group of astronauts probably born out of that 60s space program that had dreams of going to the moon in the 80s and 90s,
Right.
and we never went.
Yeah.
And now they're probably just advising on this one. So buckle up, pressurize your suits, and let's launch this thing. It's going to be one giant leap of an episode.
Oh man, that's pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy for this one. Let's get after it.
Well, I want to talk first about kind of my introduction to space. Maybe most people's introduction to space is just the great space movies that have been made.
Yeah.
And Apollo 13 came out when I was a young kid, like probably 3rd, 4th, 5th grade.
No way.
Yeah.
Is it that old?
Yeah, it was an early 90s movie.
Oh yeah, I guess I was a teenager. So yeah.
You were a teenager.
Yeah.
I was a little baby.
Yeah.
And so Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks was the incredible story of a mission that was supposed to land on the moon,
And then everything goes wrong.
but everything went wrong. And obviously Apollo 13, this was the 13th attempt at an orbit or a landing of the moon. And they thought they had all the kinks worked out.
Yeah. Well, Apollo 11 is the first one that
Reached the moon.
reached the moon. And so this was 2 after that. And Tom Hanks wasn't actually in it. He's in the movie,
Oh, I was like,
but not in the real Apollo 13.
he was a little boy,
Yeah.
not an astronaut.
That's right. That's right.
But I love that movie. And I love the scene where they fix the problem. I'm a problem solver by nature. And that scene always had me so excited. Like, here's everything on the ship, fix their oxygen
Yeah.
problem.
Well, it's such a great just movie about humanity because it doesn't just focus on the team that's in space. It also focuses on the team that's on the ground and what they're going through, trying to help them problem solve. It also shows the families.
It does. It puts humanity in it. And I don't know if y'all can see this if you're watching NASA official visitor
Oh
badge.
boy, I can't see it.
My husband's first cousin, and his wife both worked for NASA out of college. One was an engineer from the University of Texas. One was a Texas A&M University engineer. They go to NASA with their space engineering degrees and meet, fall in love, get married later on. And so we did a behind the scenes backstage
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
tour of NASA.
I've never been, but I'm super jealous that you guys got to do that.
Yeah. Shout out to cousins Cindy and Steve.
Yeah.
We had a great time. It was really cool. And so in that vein, one of my other favorite books turn space movies is Hidden Figures. Are you familiar with this
No.
one?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
About the female black mathematicians that did most of the math in the 50s and 60s to help land us on the moon.
Right.
Fabulous story. Fabulous book. Octavia Spencer, Taraji P. Henderson.
But doesn't Octavia Spencer she won an Oscar for it,
I don't
right?
know if she won the Oscar, but she was nominated.
Yeah.
But this film got tons of accolades. It was nominated for Best Picture, Academy Award for Best Picture.
Well, it's such a good story. And, it's not just about the people who are behind the scenes,
Yep.
not getting the actual credit that they're due,
Right.
It's like the quarterback always getting success for the football team winning, but he's just one player in,
Yeah.
many.
And John Glenn is the main astronaut in that movie, which there's some liberty with the movie that's not in the book, obviously.
Sure.
And I think the story indulged that a little bit, but he did ask one of these black women to verify an IBM computer's math
Wow.
before he got in he said, no, she needs to do the math. Make sure she knows the math is right. I don't trust the computer, but I trust her.
Yeah.
And that was
cool.
real. And that
Yeah.
was now in the movie, she had hours to do it, but in the real life, he gave her days before. He
Right.
was like, so I hear we're using computers now,
Right.
but I want you to do the math on this.
Well, the juxtaposition of that concept, like, I'm gonna trust this person
Yeah,
to do the math over a computer, whereas, in 2026, we
it's
would
the other way
we
around.
completely do it the other way around.
Absolutely. And Glenn Powell, I think, is John Glenn in that movie, and,
And, Kevin Costner's in it too. I think he plays,
I think you're right.
one of the
Space control, mission
manager
control
guys.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's a
pretty cool.
great one, and I really loved it. The other one is, we just recently read the book and then saw the movie, the Project Hail
Oh,
Mary.
yeah, such a good movie.
Guys, the movie is incredible. The book I read with the kids, we had to scratch out a few bad words, but the movie, I didn't see any issue.
No.
I had a 10 and a 13-year-old in the theater, and it was amazing.
I also had a 13-year-old in, the theater sitting right next to your kids,
Yep,
and it's the first movie in a long time that I wasn't worried about anything. It
yep.
was just good storytelling, really energized Jack. He is
Uh-huh.
tearing through the book.
Yep.
He absolutely loves it, and it is good
Good family fun.
family fun, heartfelt movie.
Mhm.
It's hard to believe that such good heart could come from one dude trapped in space. I'm not gonna talk much more about it,
Yeah,
but it's
highly recommend it.
yeah, Project Hail Mary, highly recommend.
Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed his acting over time. Some things are better than other things. This is his best
He
performance I've
so
ever
good,
seen.
so good.
And in the words of Rocky, amaze, amaze,
Amaze,
amaze.
amaze, statement.
So good.
Another one, it's also the book, Project Hail Mary is written by Andy Weir, and another book that he wrote is called The Martian, and there's a movie with Matt Damon, and I also really like that movie,
Mhm.
and the book as well. I think the book is a lot closer to the movie in this case than Project Hail Mary is, but not that they change much in the book to the movie for Project Hail Mary. But a guy gets trapped on Mars in the book The Martian, and he has to science his way
Yeah.
home. And it's just so good.
And Andy Weir, I don't know you, but you do science very
You're
well.
right.
And
Yeah.
that's what I love about his stuff is the math checks out, the physics. And so as someone who took a lot of math and science courses and now have young kids, I love them being able to hear these things
Yeah.
and start asking questions about physics. So the theory of relativity came up in the book, and I had to explain to the boys why time moves differently when
Yeah.
you're traveling through space.
11 years on Earth was only 4 years for me.
Yeah,
That,
it's incredible. So
yeah.
it's really fun to talk through all that.
Well, and
So
what I like about his books too is that he doesn't make the math unattainable or like boring. It actually is part of the story, and it kind of makes it exciting, which for somebody who struggled with math in high school and middle school, like having math be exciting is a rare thing.
it
So, I
is.
mean, the guy's a very talented writer, and just blessed to see that they're making those good books into good movies.
Agreed. And making them good movies because
Right.
there's good books that turn into not good movies.
That's right.
And these were great. And then finally, and this one I'm going to tee up, but then we can talk about it more in the Hullabaloo debate. There's a movie called Fly Me to the Moon starring Channing Tatum
And Scarlett Johansson,
and
right?
Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson, and it's set concurrently to the Apollo 11 mission. And we had to win the space race. That was paramount for our program, for our national security, so we believed as Americans. And they were worried that if we didn't land the math and make this happen, they were going to stage the moon landing in video so that we could just on paper say we won this race. Spoiler alert for the movie. They
Very
didn't have to
interesting.
use the footage, but it was a really fun movie and I enjoyed it as well. But we'll tee that one up for later. Okay, rapid fire question
Rapid
time.
fire.
Here we go, Scott. I'm
All right.
asking the questions.
Okay.
You've just set foot on the moon. You
Okay.
are the first human to stand there in 50 years. What are the first words out of your mouth?
I would love to say that I would be as eloquent as one giant leap for man. One giant leap for
One
man.
small step for
Small step for
man.
man, giant leap for mankind. See, I can't even do it eloquently now.
Yeah, never mind. Ask me the question.
Yeah, but I think what I would do is I would just kind of have a freak out moment. Like I would be like, I can't believe I'm on the moon.
Amaze, amaze,
Yeah,
amaze.
just, and I would start like hopping up and down and like, guys, gravity is amazing.
Well, you'd hop up, but you'd come
Or
down
maybe
like
not.
10 minutes later.
Yeah.
It'd be
Uh,
really awkward.
Yeah, I think I would revert back to just childhood. I don't think that I would, unless somebody had like written out like this should be the thing that you should say. I think I would just instinctually just celebrate that
Do you
I
think Neil Armstrong, like I haven't done any research into that. If he thought about what he was gonna I mean, I know he's a super smart dude, so he probably came up with that on the
Well,
fly.
I did hear that the Neil Armstrong thing, that's not exactly what he said, but there was like
Yeah.
a static in between it. And so that's what people think he said, but he actually said something different. But I do think he probably wrote it down,
Yeah.
wrote it
He
out.
thought, what if I was stepping on the moon? I figured you were gonna give me like a just a Star Wars quote, like, I am your father, because you're in space for the first time.
No, I don't think that the sci-fi person in me would come out. I think
The American hero would.
the kindergartner version
Okay,
of me
the
would come out,
kindergarten
and I would
over.
just start having a good time.
I'd get up there and be like, America!
Yeah,
We're back, baby!
I would say something probably that would embarrass
Yeah.
Kristen. She'd be sitting there watching the television with all of her family and friends, and she'd be like, "I cannot
Wait for
believe
this. Wait for this. He has a
Oh,
podcast.
it's
He's very good with
it's gonna
words.
be so good." And then it'll be, "Woo!"
Woo! Somebody crack open a beer.
Yeah.
We're on the moon. If you could leave one personal item on the moon, like a time capsule object for future explorers or even aliens to discover, what would it be and why?
I think it was John Glenn that this, or maybe it was Buzz Aldrin. One of the guys took a family photo with him and left it on the moon, and I love
Yeah.
that Scott was here or whatever, but
Yeah.
just memorializing like the humanity of it. Like the most important thing to me is my faith and my family, and then to be able to combine that. So maybe like a Bible with a family picture inside and leave it
Yeah.
up there for somebody to find. Yeah.
You are floating above the Earth on your way to the moon, and you get one phone call home. Who do you call first?
I mean, I call Kristen.
This is awkward. She's right here.
Yeah.
You have to say that.
Obviously, it's Kristen. But yeah, that's 100%. That's the only person that I would want to be talking to. While I was
I'd
up there.
call my kids.
You'd call your
My
kids?
husband's a man of very few words.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a waste of a collect call to Earth.
Yeah, I'd be
So
like, what?
he'd be like, is that all?
I'm in the yard.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I would call Kristen and hope that my kids were around when I was on that phone call. But yeah, I mean, that's who I would want to celebrate with being up there. But it would also be the one that I missed the most. So
Here's the deal.
encouraging me to come back.
I get one phone call. I can call anybody on Earth. I think I'm calling Brad Pitt. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
I mean, I talked to my husband for 15, 20 years by this point.
Well, maybe
but
that's
I'd never spoken to Brad.
The one time you get the opportunity to call the president or
Yeah, exactly.
Brad Pitt, I guess.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
I love it.
I beat you to space, Tom.
Saka, you just play these astronauts here. NASA says you can bring one non-essential personal item on the mission, no bigger than a shoebox. What is going in the box?
Non-essential item. What's going in the box? My Bible, peanut butter and jelly. Picture of my family. I think I said all those things.
Okay, before we started this episode, Kristen said be funny, and you haven't been funny yet once.
Fine. I would bring my vintage Chuck Taylors so that
you
when
could put Jules in the box.
So when I got to the moon to make that first step, I would put my Chucks on first so that my first footstep would be that Chuck Taylor footprint.
So Vincent Glover, who is on the Artemis II right now, is bringing a Bible, his wedding rings, and family heirlooms. So wonk. You think like an astronaut.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See how? I guess we're all funny.
I'd bring Bingo, but he doesn't fit in a shoebox. It's a big corgi.
Yeah, would not be taking Jules up there with me. She would fit in it.
She would fit in a
shoebox.
She could have a paw print on the moon. She could be the second dog in space.
First dog on the moon.
Yeah, first dog on the moon. You just orbited the moon and you're heading home. You have to write one sentence on a postcard back to Earth that every single person on the planet will read. What does it say?
I have no idea. Like, see you soon.
Yeah.
Be right back.
BRB.
BRB. It was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Or I would say something funny like, it's all going wrong. Save me, save me, save me.
Yes.
And then April Fools. Haha.
That is ironic. They did take off on April Fools, which is not helping the conspiracy theorists.
It's really not.
All right. Would you rather?
Okay. I can read you some of these.
We can ping pong.
All right. You go with the first one, though.
Would you rather be a part of the Apollo 11 crew, the first humans ever to land on the moon with the 1960s technology and no guarantee of coming home, or be on Artemis right now, 2026, with modern tech, better safety, but knowing history's already been made without you?
I think I would take now.
I'm not a risk taker. I will take now.
The 1960s thing, I mean, they probably did the best with what they could, but there was no guarantees. Not that there's many now.
Sure.
But we're more prepared
Yeah, we've got better monitoring systems. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of years to work the math out.
But I mean, if
Almost,
something goes wrong in space,
it
even
doesn't matter.
today, there's not a lot of it's not like you're out to sea somewhere and we can send helicopters. Like
No, no,
you're so I'd rather gamble with my 2026 technology.
absolutely.
Let me ask you one. Would you rather spend a week in the cramped Apollo lunar module, which if you've never seen it, it's really small,
It's
big enough for 3 people,
barely.
barely.
And people were
Uh,
smaller in the 1960s than
that
they are now.
yeah,
I am tall. I'm bigger than an average man. I'm probably bigger than John Glenn and Buzz Aldrin
and Neil Armstrong,
and
yeah,
Neil
all those
Armstrong.
guys. So would you rather spend a week cramped in the lunar module with 2 other astronauts and a corned beef sandwich someone snuck on board, or spend 6 months on the International Space Station in relative comfort but never get close to the moon?
I love corned beef. And
All right.
again, I think the less amount of time in space makes me feel better. Because I've been on the International Space Station mock-up at
Oh,
NASA. I
okay. I
backstage
I've known
pass.
you for a while. I feel like you should lead with "I've been on the International Space Station." If
It's the exact replica. It is not very big.
yeah, you've also been on a Millennium Falcon, exact
And
replica.
almost lost my lunch.
Yeah. Well, and then we talked about this on an earlier episode about those, 2 scientists that were twin brothers and one went into space
Yep,
and one stayed on Earth so they could study their bone density or whatever, and the longer you're in space, the more impact it has on your body.
exactly. So I'm going short trip. I'm going to eat a corned beef sandwich. I'm going to get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Would you rather watch the Apollo 11 moon landing live on a fuzzy black and white TV in 1969 or watch the first Artemis moon landing live in stunning 4K HD streamed to your phone, knowing that the first woman will step on this surface?
I would the second one. Although, like, to be there in the '60s when everyone was
Time stopped,
watching
I think.
well, I think so too. I mean, your parents, my parents, everyone of that generation still talk about that
Mm,
moment as if it just happened yesterday,
yes.
and they're very excited
It
about it.
was formative.
Yes, and I know that the Artemis mission is gonna be exciting for those of us that care. I just don't think it's gonna have the global impact that
No,
it did in the '60s. Because it's like, "Yeah, we did it, we should have been doing it more regularly." Like, I'm kinda over it. But for me, I'm just as excited, I'm sure, as the people were in the '60s, but, yeah, I think I'd take the 1960s just to be in the experience.
I would too. The very few of those milestones, and here you can point to a lot of them, and often they're tragedies. But
Right.
that one is a celebration, a global celebration of what mankind was able to do
Yeah.
through a lot of money, a lot of science, and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I skipped number 3, I'm sorry,
Well,
because
I'll
mine
ask
is
you
so
number
small.
3. Would you rather have your name etched on a plaque and then left on the moon for all of eternity, or at least until the sun bleaches it and it gets covered in
Sure.
dirt, or have a crater on Mars named after you?
I'll take the crater on Mars named after me.
Yeah. What if we never get to Mars and only people who study Mars know that it's named after you?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be like
Sarah's crater.
Sarah's crater? The Sarah crater?
The crater of Sarah.
Mm.
That sounds pretty good. Mhm.
Yeah. She ate a corned beef sandwich. We had to name this crater after her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crater of Sarah. Well, what would you prefer?
I think I would take the crater on Mars too. I think having something named after you is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Until our ancestors no, wait, what's the other one?
Oh,
He
Nate,
just
he
did this.
doesn't know it either.
He just did this. He said
People in
this
posterity. People
yeah.
for all of
What
posterity.
did he say? Or my future
My
ancestors.
future
Yeah,
ancestors. What are descendants?
my yeah, descendants. That's gotta
Oh,
be it.
that's gotta be it.
Yeah, so when
It
our
does feel like a word that means behind you, right?
descendants, yeah.
Descendants, but I think it's the ones in front of you.
When future generations get tired of talking about the Fushi crater and they just change it to something else.
Yeah.
It's Foshi crater, by the way.
Scrater, the Scott crater, Scrater.
Scrater.
And
Scrater,
finally,
dude.
would you rather eat rehydrated space food for every meal
No,
of a 10-day moon mission?
no.
Brisket in a pouch, mac and cheese from a bag, 5 different hot sauces, or eat fresh food but have to prepare it all yourself from scratch in microgravity without dropping crumbs everywhere?
Oh, man. I don't know. I ate a lot of MREs when I was in the Air Force, and
You're fine.
I maybe,
Yeah.
but they're gross after a while.
Yeah,
They're exactly what you need. But after watching Project Hail Mary, like if you just do one little slip, it's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
So I guess I would be eating out of the
I
pouch.
think so too. I think it would just be such a nightmare to have to keep up with all of the ingredients and everything you have to do, and we just cannot at all fathom what microgravity is like.
Yeah,
But again, watching my Hail Mary Project, I agree. But in the book, he goes into quite a bit of detail about
he
the
actually
goo he's
he
slopping.
vomits at one point, and it wasn't until that moment that he realized he left all the cabinets open. It
Right,
got everywhere.
right.
Yeah, gross.
All right. We're going to go top 10 list, and it's going to be the most jaw-dropping facts about the moon missions.
All right, number 10, the Apollo guidance computer that took humans to the moon had less processing power. This is just mind blowing.
I didn't even know.
Than modern USB-C chargers.
No, I can't even deal with that
Yeah,
fact.
it's the thing that our microphones are plugged in with have more intelligence in it
Than the Apollo guidance computer.
than the computer guiding it to
Yeah.
the moon.
Just insane.
Yeah, makes it hard to believe.
It makes it hard to believe. But they were doing the math on the papers,
They were doing, yeah,
too.
they had a lot of paper back then.
Apollo astronauts left retro reflectors on the moon that scientists still bounce lasers off today to measure the moon's exact distance to the millimeter.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
It goes back to the unbelievable science. And I think this all Hidden Figures is what put into perspective for me the book, because it was very sciencey. The book was full of math. And I was like, good night, Irene. I had no idea. It just never dawns on you the amount of math that gets us into
Well, right.
space.
We're on a moving.
We're moving.
We're moving. The
It's
moon is moving.
We're rotating.
You have to have a good launch window to make the distance as short as possible. And if you miss that launch window,
You don't have enough
don't launch
fuel.
because you don't have enough fuel to do it. It is how much smarter humans are than me is just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's astounding. Not that I'm smart at all,
No.
but there are people that are super, super smart and they can do these kind of math. Like I wouldn't even think that we're moving, nor would I think that the moon is moving. Like for me, I'm like, well, let's just shoot the rocket straight.
Exactly.
The moon's right there.
It's
Let's
right
just,
there. Let's go.
we'll just shoot it.
Which
at
to
the
that
thing.
point, there, when they saw the initial path the rocket shoots off, it's got to orbit the Earth twice before it can go into its figure eight to go around the moon.
It uses Earth's gravity to help it propel towards the moon, and then to come back, they're going to use the moon's gravity to help it bring back to the Earth. And why is it different gravity? Like, isn't like I don't know.
Okay, whoa.
Yeah, it's just killing my brain.
Guys, I thought he was going to blow a gasket over
I've never
there.
said the word gravity so many
So
times in a
much
sentence.
gravity, which we had already talked about Nate Bargatze's group not in getting gravity, but I believe gravity's origins are at the center of our planet.
I think so too.
Therefore, the origins of moon's gravity are at the center of it, and it has to do with the mass of the object, the mass of Earth versus the mass of moon, and that's why our gravities are
Lost
different.
me at mass.
Okay.
When you said I believe, I just stopped listening. I was like, well.
Number 8, Scott.
Number 8, the Saturn V rocket was so loud at liftoff, it could melt concrete 2 miles away. Is that right? Did I read that right?
Yeah.
It was so loud that it can melt concrete?
Yeah. That's what it says.
There's no way that's right. Maybe it was so hot at takeoff? I don't know. But could you imagine something so loud that it was melting things? Because sound is a wave, Anyway, it remains the most powerful rocket ever successfully flown until now because the Artemis beats it by 15%.
Okay.
So is it loud?
It says that sound cannot be so loud that it melts concrete, but sound waves can generate heat. The energy required to melt concrete via sound alone is far greater than even what massive rockets like the Saturn V would produce.
So
rumors that rockets melt concrete are false.
So do your own research. But what probably happened is that the Saturn V rocket was so hot and the sound moving at the same time that it melted the concrete. That's probably where that rumor, shattercracker damage is what Kristen says.
Shattercracker damage.
Yeah.
That's like the
Snap,
first
crackle, pop.
cousin to Rice Krispies. I agree.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I worked next to a runway for 23 years and some of those planes taking off.
He still can't hear.
That's right. You could feel the noise like in the tower of a plane taking off on the runway. Like it's
shakes you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's powerful.
Number 7. Apollo 13's crew survived a catastrophic oxygen tank explosion 200,000 miles from Earth and made it home using the lunar module as a lifeboat.
Yeah, crazy.
So if you've seen that movie, they had to like turn all the power off in the aircraft, the spacecraft. Uh, they were freezing. It was made the environment wet while they were in a trajectory back towards Earth. But until they got the oxygen tank fixed, they weren't able to power everything back on. And famously in that movie, if they missed the window of getting back into Earth's atmosphere, they would have bounced off our atmosphere and
Yeah,
been
the
out in
upper
space.
atmosphere and
I mean, that would have been just devastating. So in that movie, they like a joystick. They target Earth, they fire the boosters one more time, and they're able to re-enter. But I don't know how much of that is exactly accurate, but I have a feeling it was probably
pretty
pretty
close.
close.
Yeah. There are 96, this is number 6. There are
Oh.
96 bags of astronaut waste currently sitting on the lunar surface of from the Apollo missions. There are 96 bags of human waste. I don't think that means just
Yeah,
poop.
mostly poop, probably.
Genuinely want to study some of its microbiology for
It
research.
should be pretty cold on the moon, right?
Sure, I would have to say freezing
Yeah, let's see what's
because there's no atmosphere, right? So there's 96 bags of poop on the moon.
very, very few microbes can survive freezing. It would be interesting. Surface temperatures on the moon are extreme, ranging from 250 degrees Fahrenheit in the direct sunlight to negative 208 degrees Fahrenheit at night. The lack of the atmosphere means no heat is trapped, causing rapid, drastic shifts. Some of the permanently shadowed poles plunge to negative 410 degrees.
Whoa!
Among the coldest measured in the solar system. What in the world? Talk about space blowing your mind once again. You would think that being relatively the same distance to the sun as us,
Yeah.
this would not be true.
Well, right. I guess that's because our atmosphere
Well,
filters.
our atmosphere traps heat.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't have an atmosphere, so they're not trapping any heat.
But they're getting direct sunlight, so it's 200 and something
So it
degrees.
becomes 250 degrees
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
geez.
So
it's like Del Rio summers.
my mom was telling me that one of the ideas is to colonize the moon in these missions, these Artemis missions.
They are saying that they're going to put a base on the moon.
In a 400-degree temperature swing? No,
Yeah.
thank you. So
Well,
wonder what the temperature is.
You've already said on multiple occasions, and maybe not specifically about the moon, but you're not the person to go on this mission. I think when we talked about going to Mars that you said that you wouldn't go.
I'd rather go on the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in a covered wagon with normal temperature swings and an oxen than
And an oxen.
this. That's incredible.
That's pretty incredible. That's a lot of,
It's a huge temperature swing.
yeah.
I heard on it's now the Public Figures podcast, the greatest temperature swing that Montana saw was like 100 degrees, but it was like it went from negative 50 to 50 degrees in one day or whatever.
Not from 0 to 100.
Not to 0 to 100, which is sometimes what it feels like it does here.
Sure. Well, I've had a temperature swing. I came back from Qatar. It was 120 degrees there when I left, and I got to Oklahoma City, and it was 80 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was freezing.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, "Oh,
This is lovely.
Perfect weather."
Couldn't ask for better weather.
96 bags of poop.
Moon dust, called regolith, is razor sharp at the microscopic level and nearly wrecked Apollo's equipment. It is still one of NASA's biggest unsolved problems for Artemis. Razor sharp
dust.
But I guess there's no wind, so it's not blowing around.
Yeah, but you still got to step on it.
Got it.
That's terrifying. It's almost like they don't want us to be up there.
Well, luckily does feel that way sometimes. Luckily those suits, they're not having to touch it, but I wonder what those moon rocks feel like. If they've got razor sharp edges on them too.
If they're not dusty, then they don't.
I just figured the dust made the rock.
Oh, maybe the rocks are
Or
made out
the
of
rocks
dust.
made the dust. That's probably the better way to say it.
Maybe. We don't know. During Apollo 17, astronaut Harrison Schmitt was the only trained geologist to ever walk on the moon. He discovered orange soil that rewrote our understanding of the lunar volcanic history. What? There used to be volcanoes on the moon?
Apparently.
Orange soil on the moon?
There's so much to learn about things, y'all. Go to school. Stay in school.
Study something.
Take Take astronomy
Do
classes
not study theater in college.
or meat science.
Yeah, there's so much
You
more
don't
stuff to
use it
study.
enough, but I will use it in the round about the news stories, so we'll get back to that. The Artemis II crew launched on April 1st, 2026.
April Fools!
Yes, it's April's Fool's Day, making it the first crewed lunar mission in over 50 years. No joke.
I mean, I watched it on my cell phone because I was on my way to church, but yeah,
But the window is the window. It
right,
wasn't like they were like, guys, let's really get after everybody. Let's trick them and let's do this on April the 1st.
right.
It was, this is the window.
Or they were.
And, well, maybe they had like 5 days to pick from, and they're like, we're doing April the 1st.
We have to do it.
How would you feel as the uh, astronauts going off on April Fools? Does that feel like
Well, you would be wondering if somebody was pulling a
exactly
prank
like,
on
are we really going? Is this
Right.
a joke? Like, I don't want to have to sit in a capsule for 3 hours prior to launch, and then we don't launch because it's some publicity stunt.
you. Right.
Yeah, I'd be pretty
Yikes.
mad about that.
Okay, on Artemis II, Christina
Koch.
Koch, I have no idea how I was going to say it, will become the first woman to orbit the moon, and Victor Glover will be the first Black person to do so. 2 firsts on the mission. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it took us this long.
Well, I mean, we stopped doing it in the 70s.
That's right. We barely let women vote at that point.
I mean,
Number 1, NASA named its moon program after the sun god Apollo, even though Apollo is the sun god, not the moon god. His twin sister, Artemis, is the actual moon goddess. It took NASA 60 years to connect this to mythology.
yeah, that's pretty cool, though,
I love
that
it.
they named the new mission Apollo and Artemis.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
I love it. All right, from the news desk, and we're going to go right into this one, Scott. You'll read the first one.
Okay. Origins. What's in a name? The real story behind Apollo and Artemis. And I think we kind of touched on this. Here's a question that should keep you up at night. If you're sending humans to the moon, why on earth would you name the program after the sun god? I mean, why would you do it? Well, welcome to the origin story of Apollo. In 1960, a NASA engineer named Abe Silverstein, I'm sure I crushed that one.
Shell's brother.
That's, yeah, Shelley's brother. Was flipping through the mythology book at home, and then he came across the name Apollo, the Greek god of the sun, music, prophecy, and archery, which, I mean, that's a pretty good
He had a great resume.
range. Riding his golden chariot across the sky, and through it marched the grand administration of what NASA was trying to do, like riding that golden rocket or that golden chariot. I was naming the spacecraft like I was naming my baby, Silverstein later said. I mean, that's pretty cute.
It's pretty cute.
Whether it was mythologically correct or nonsense, depending on who you ask, it's still something that this classic professor took this ancient Greek word and thought twice before naming the lunar mission after the moon goddess' younger brother.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I loved this story, and
Yeah.
I did always wonder what the origin of the Apollo program name was, and then I had read in a book, it was a fictional book.
Was
It was
it the
called
Rick-
Olympus, Texas,
Oh,
and the 2 twins in it were named Artie and Apollo or whatever. So I did know that they were twins.
well, in Ready Player One, the primary female character's name is Artemis. So let's talk about Apollo. In Greek mythology, he is one of the 12 Olympic gods. He's the son of Zeus and
And the Titaness Leto.
and the twin brother of Artemis. He's associated with the sun and light, but he also reason, music, poetry, prophecy, and healing. He's the most famous,
His most famous shrine
Thank
is
you.
the Oracle of Delphi.
which is one of those weird things. Like they would take women to this thing and they think that there was like a natural gas leak there that was causing them to have like seizures, but they would like give prophecy and stuff
Right.
here at the Oracle of Delphi. It's very fascinating Greek history. But people would travel from across the ancient world to hear prophecies from the oracle from Apollo. He is one of the most complex and layered figures in mythology. And he probably is why they named this whole program after him, because it's a complicated program. He's a
Yep.
complicated guy. There we go. Why don't you talk about Artemis?
Okay, there then comes Artemis. And the name choice this time actually makes mythological sense. When NASA announced its return to the moon program in 2019, then NASA administrator Jim Bridenstine,
Both Steens.
and so many Steens, explained it simply. It turns out that Apollo had a twin sister, Artemis. She happens to be the goddess of the moon. In Greek mythology, Artemis is the goddess of the moon, the wilderness, and the hunt. She's a guardian, a protector, and a figure of transition. And critically, she's the actual deity associated with the lunar surface that Apollo was always trying to reach. As Bridenstine noted, it was also a deliberate signal. The Artemis program would carry the first woman to the moon. 50 years after Apollo, NASA finally let the moon goddess have her program.
That's pretty cool.
Ah, it's great.
That's good. But I find it suiting, not like they planned to name it Apollo back in the 60s just so later we'd name it Artemis, but it really does work well together, those two things.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
More space news coming up. Humanity goes back to the moon, and it launched on April Fool's Day.
What a silly choice.
NASA's Artemis II mission lifted off from Kennedy Space Center, sending 4 humans toward the moon for the first time since Apollo 17 in 1972. Where were you during that?
1972? Same place you were.
Not here yet. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen are currently making their way around the moon and back in a planned 10-day mission. When Koch circles the moon, she'll become the first woman in history to do so. When Glover does, he will be the first Black person.
Well, when the other guy does it, he'll be the first Canadian to do
it.
What are you talking about?
He put maple syrup in his box.
I'm sure he did.
This just isn't a return to the moon. It's a rewriting of who gets to be part of that story. The crew was confirmed to be secure and in great spirits following the launch, despite, and we are not making this up, a broken toilet and a temporary communication glitch early in the mission.
Yeah, and when they just did a live stream too, and they all seemed like they were in a really good mood, and it's pretty cool that
they're living their dreams, man.
I mean, that we have the opportunity and the technology to do things like live stream with astronauts.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I mean, we've been doing that since the 60s, though. I mean, they
did.
Yes,
we have.
They did. They live streamed all those missions. That's how we knew.
Not in high def.
That's how Tom Hanks. No, it wasn't in high def. That's how Tom Hanks was able to get everything fixed on Apollo 13.
But that was more
live stream
radios. This is like cell phone cameras. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Is the science the same?
It's got to be.
Yeah. Radio
Just
waves,
smaller.
Regardless. All right. You up with the next.
Who knows? All right. Space business. The moon is now open for business. Private companies are racing to the lunar surface. I can't even believe this. It's not just the government agencies heading moonward anymore. The new era of commercial lunar exploration is underway, with private companies landing spacecraft on the moon as part of NASA's commercial lunar payload service program. Easy for everyone to say.
You did great.
So this program has made history as the first, it's called Intuitive Machines, has made history as the first private company to soft land a spacecraft on the moon, touching down near the South Pole, which I would assume is at the bottom of the moon, right?
I don't know anything anymore.
Well, they call it the hottest real estate in the solar system.
But it's actually the coldest.
But it's probably the coldest. Or is it? I mean,
-200. No, they said that the coldest temperatures recorded are at the poles of the moon. We just said all of that.
I promise you, I was probably listening. So it's the hottest real estate, believed to be the harbor of water, ice in permanently shadowed.
So they believe that area is able to harbor water in ice form.
Oh, not that there is already water there. They're thinking that they could.
No, they believe that area harbors water as ice.
They think there's ice on the moon?
They think there's ice at the poles of the moon.
I really don't know anything about the moon. I'm realizing that.
So the reason this is so exciting is that water ice could be converted into drinking water, oxygen, and maybe even rocket fuel for deep space missions. So SpaceX Starship is selected as the Artemis human landing system, the line between the government space exploration and the commercial enterprises, and it's very blurry. The space race in the 2020s isn't between nations, it's between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos,
Amazon,
and then maybe a little bit of the Chinese.
Watch out for those Razor Rocks, guys. I hear
Just
they're bad.
terrible.
Also, I mean, it's just amazing that they think that there's water up there and that they can use it for all those different things. Like, it's just
Water is life, man.
that's right. Water is life.
Which in the Hail Mary project, I don't think this is a spoiler alert. Ryan Gosling's character believes that life could exist. There was life forms that could exist without water, which that true, it's not been proven, right? But my children keep debating me on this topic. Hudson is constantly like, I also believe that there could be life forms without water. And I'm like, but there aren't.
Right.
And we haven't found them. And they don't exist. He's like, but I believe they could be out there. And I'm like, well, not even in the Hail Mary project did they
Right.
disprove that. And I thought
the
that was
main character who believed it was proven wrong.
exactly. I thought as I was reading the book, I thought Rocky was going to be the answer to his,
Yeah.
and then he was going to have to make a decision about, do I go back and prove to everybody I was right, or do I have to die on this mission or whatever? But that never was touched on again. I was like,
Yeah.
this was a great, like, this could have been a great thread
Character
in this.
growth. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, it was great nonetheless. All right, final news story. Brisket, hot sauce, and 58 tortillas. What the Artemis II crew is eating on their way to the moon.
Sounds delicious. If
I had
that's it.
58 tortillas today. Just before launch, NASA dropped one of the more unexpected viral moments of the space age. They posted the full food menu for Artemis II on social media. I saw this on my Facebook page. The internet immediately lost its mind. They're eating better in space than on Earth, wrote one commenter. Another highlighted the creamy spinach with nutmeg and coconut milk as sounding suspiciously fancy for zero gravity.
Sounds gross.
They're not wrong. The Artemis II menu runs 189 unique items. There's barbecued beef brisket, vegetable quiche, broccoli au gratin, macaroni and cheese, mango peach smoothies, couscous with nuts. I think it would be hard to eat couscous in zero gravity.
Just through a straw.
Just throw them up and nom, nom, nom,
yeah.
nom, nom.
I mean, I wonder what like Neil Armstrong would think about this menu.
He'd be pissed.
Yeah, I think so.
Tropical fruit salad and a dessert menu that includes cookies, chocolate cobbler, which I've never had, pudding, candy-coated almonds. There are 5 different hot sauces, and there is maple syrup, a nod to Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen. And there are precisely 58 tortillas. Well, probably not anymore. They're probably eating a few.
What kind of hot sauces do you think they have? I mean, Tabasco's gotta be.
Tabasco. I was thinking that too. Tabasco, Cholula.
There was one called like something Pete.
Oh yeah,
Was always
Texas
out.
Pete's.
Texas Pete, yeah. On every deployment we went on,
Yeah,
they wouldn't have Tabasco. They'd have Texas.
Texas Pete's. I like Crystal hot sauce, which is a Louisiana one too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's a very Tabasco-like.
Very Tabasco-like, but I like it better than Tabasco. Why tortillas and not bread? Because crumbs in microgravity don't fall. They float, and they can damage a spacecraft equipment or injure the crew. The tortilla has been a staple of space cuisine for decades, specifically because it doesn't crumble. Go tortillas.
I mean, some of them do it, so they must be doing flour tortillas.
Yeah, it must be. The menu has no sandwiches for the same reason. Every food item on board is either ready to eat, rehydratable, thermostabilized, or irradiated for shelf stability.
I mean, I literally just told Jack the other day, like maybe Tuesday this week, that I thought a taco was a perfect food.
It is a perfect food.
Because it has everything in it, and it's in that perfect,
hold
tortilla.
it. Yeah. I had friends that they were family of kids. They were like all 6'5", 6'7". The daughters even over 6 foot tall. The mom would just put tortillas on the table to use as napkins. They'd wipe their mouth and eat the tortillas afterwards.
That's funny.
It was great. So who actually designs all of this, you ask? Ask me, Scott.
Okay, who actually designs all this, I ask?
That would be the team at NASA's Space Food Systems Laboratory at Johnson Space Center in Houston and a partner facility at Texas A&M University.
I mean, this is what our tax dollars should be going to.
I agree.
So that's so cool.
So this space is not a kitchen. It's a full food science operation staffed by food scientists, nutritionists, engineers, and packaging specialists who treat every meal like it's a mission-critical system. They run a test kitchen equipment with freeze dryers, steam kettles, industrial ovens, and even vacuum sealers. They analyze each astronaut's nutritional needs and factor in calorie burn, hydration, bone density, and even the fact that your taste buds change in microgravity due to fluid shifts in your body. which is
Huh.
part of the reason they put 5 hot sauces on board. About 8 months before launch, the crew visits the lab for formal taste testing sessions, rating each food for flavor, texture, appearance, and smell. 5 months before the flight, the menus are locked in. 2 to 3 days of food per astronaut are then packed together in a single container, giving the crew some flexibility mid-mission. NASA has projected the Artemis II crew will drink approximately 43 cups of coffee during the 10-day trip. For the record, the space food scientists describe their work not as cooking, but as engineering meals.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like too. Also, only 43 cups of coffee for 4 people. Come on.
It seems reasonable, Scott. I drink
What?
2 a day. So 10 days, I need 20. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're only getting 1 cup a day, I guess.
Yeah, that's
I guess because it's a diuretic, they don't want to pee in all their liquids out.
I guess. What I'm sure part of the engineering of this food and designing it is how each food is affecting someone's stomach when they eat it.
Well,
Um,
food safety is paramount on these missions.
right.
And interestingly, I do know this because I did study food science at Texas A&M University, but anyone who studies food science knows that our modern day food safety program, which is called the HACCP program, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point program, it's used in restaurants, food processing facilities worldwide, was developed for NASA at Texas A&M
Cool.
University. And it is the gold standard because we cannot have these folks develop foodborne illness in space, not only
Right.
for the vomiting and the diarrhea problem, but because they can't be out of the mission. And so a safe food supply
Right. There's
is
only 4 of
paramount.
them. They have to work every day. Like
Yeah.
you can't take a sick day in space.
Nope.
Um, that's so cool. So they're not eating beans out of a can probably
Maybe not.
because not safe.
I bet it's plenty safe
Yeah, maybe.
because it's gone through a hazard program.
Maybe.
Now, it wouldn't be safe to have a pop atop a lid floating around. It might cut your
Yeah.
oxygen
Well, I
cords.
think it's cool though that tortillas is like the thing.
Yeah,
Like
I love it.
that's a very Texas thing.
All right, guys. Now to everyone's favorite part of the episode, the hullabaloo debate.
I mean, honestly, people have been asking us to debate this thing since we started our podcast. So,
And the reason is because until I met Scott,
which is hard for me to believe.
I live in an optimistic bubble. I had never heard of people not believing that we landed on the moon in 1969. Didn't know people didn't believe.
Until I met Sarah, I wasn't sure that I had ever met someone who actually believed it that was in my generation of people.
So here we are today. The hullabaloo debate topic is, did humans actually land on the moon? Scott?
I say no. You want me to
Elaborate.
say more than no? Actually, I got a text message this morning from a family member, actually Uncle BJ, one of our primary listeners, asked me if Artemis makes it back to the moon, what's my theory on the original moon landing? Are they going to stage that or what are they going to do? And I said to him, I don't know how they're going to handle it. I hope that I'm wrong. I really do want to be wrong. I want to believe that we landed on the moon. I just don't. And really the primary reason, and I'm wondering how Artemis is dealing with it, is the Van Allen radiation belt that exists between Earth and the moon. Like the technology that we had in the 60s, we would have just been eaten alive. The radiation would have just melted us. Also, I think that our government had too much at stake to not get to the moon. And so we were going to do whatever we needed to do to show the world that we had made it, whether we made it or not. And it just, I don't know, the technology in that USB-C drive compared to the technology that we would require to get to the moon. I know we were doing the math.
A lot of things had to go really right.
A lot of things had to happen exactly a certain way to get us there. And we say that we went there multiple times. And then when I watch those videos, and I've never seen the original film, so I don't know for a fact. I only see what's on the internet, but it just looks
So fake.
so fake.
Yeah.
And 2001: A Space Odyssey had just come out a few years prior, and it looks just like that.
Yeah. So they nailed it. The movie nailed
They
it.
nailed it. Well, and
nailed it.
the story is that Stanley Kubrick helped the guy who directed 2001: A Space Odyssey helped NASA stage it. So that's probably why it looks so similar.
I think the hard thing for me to believe. One, like we've said before, I'm an optimist, and
Well, and
I take
you're a little naive in that kind of stuff too. Like
100%. I don't believe any conspiracy theories. I'm very clearly trust everyone's what they tell me about
Why
everything.
would they lie? Yeah.
But I think the number of people that worked on Apollo numbers 400,000 people. And for that many people to be in on this ruse and it not have broken is
I
incredible.
don't think that all of those people know.
Number one. Number two, Russia was they beat us to space. They were on our heels.
They even put a dog in space before us.
They did. I mean, doggone it. They got a dog in space before we
Cosmo.
did. But I feel like if we didn't do it, they would have been the first ones to be like, because we were still in the Cold War. They were not our friends. They had no reason to defend us in this endeavor. And if we didn't do it, I think they would have made sure and told everybody.
Like, man,
I think they were tracking it. And if it were faked, they would have let the world know immediately.
but don't you think that we were in such a space race that if it was possible that Russia too would have gone like immediately afterwards and like taken the American flag out and thrown it out into space and filmed that whole thing and stuck
I don't think
the
they could
Russian
afford
flag?
to. The one visual that I keep seeing just in the last few years shows it's like a graph, and it shows the number of aircraft in the United States
Inventory?
compared to every other country. Staggering how far
Yeah.
behind everybody is. We forget how wealthy a nation we are. And meanwhile, Russia was letting everybody starve to death trying to chase us in a space race. Present day dollars, Apollo mission cost $257 billion.
Yeah.
And they had people lined up for bread that nobody was getting bread. And, everybody's only driving black cars because they couldn't afford other colors of paint. And so I just don't think Russia being our number one.
So you're thinking that they would have
competitor?
had a spy involved somewhere? They would have.
Well, they could
blown the
track the
whistle?
movement. I'm sure they had been in space. They had some technology. They were tracking these missions. If we were failing at it, then they would have known it. I also think that the way those missions, where did the rocket go? So the rocket goes into space and then it just circled the moon and came back?
No, it just keeps going. Right? There's no
So,
gravity
no,
up
those
there.
people came back.
Yeah. The-
Oh, you're saying they never got on?
The people weren't on the rocket.
Well, that's not fair to Buzz and Neil and everything they accomplished. Once again, I just
But
don't
did
know
they-
who benefits from the lie.
America did. A lot of people did. We were failing in so many other areas. We needed the win.
We didn't fail. We just won back-to-back world wars.
Yeah. 20 years before.
Yeah, it's just not that long. Now you know. Look back 20 years, Scott. We both act like we're just out of high school all the time.
Yeah, that's true. And
20 years ain't very far.
no, it is not.
I told Hudson yesterday's CrossFit workout that I was sprinting a 300 and then doing 10 push-ups. He's like, you can sprint 300 yards.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can still sprint 300 yards 8 times, you jerk.
And it was a rough workout, but we did it.
But we did it.
Yeah.
Under the time cap.
Under the time cap. So I think that we had too much to gain from the lie. And like I've said before, I really want to be wrong. I do. I want to think that we made it to the moon. There's too much evidence stacked against it, and there's too much for the U.S. government to have benefited from for me to believe it. But I want Artemis to go. I do. I want to get to the moon. I want them to go and take pictures of the landing sites, and
will that be what it takes?
for me to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But also, if they faked it in 1969, they could fake it now too. They could just go fake
right.
it.
And that's my problem with you conspiracy theorists is it's like no amount of information ever changes the mind of a person who cannot believe. And I think that's what makes this conversation so hard.
But I'm willing.
I know, and I appreciate that about you.
I'm willing to have my mind
Allegedly,
changed.
he's willing to have his mind change. We'll see, y'all. I just am like, well, where did then what about those lunar modules that are the return modules that drop in the ocean? Where did those come from?
B-52.
Oh, God. He's in deep, y'all.
Look,
Where did Buzz hide all week? Where did Neil hide all week?
in New Mexico.
How'd they get there? They were seen walking onto those rockets, and then they
Put them in a car. There was thousands.
They dropped them below the stage like a David Copperfield magic show.
Yes.
And then they tunneled. They were in a tunnel, and they went all the way to New Mexico from
No, they
Cape
just put them in a
Canaveral.
car and they drove them to New Mexico.
Throw them in the back. Ugh, there's just so many. I find space travel so much more believable than this series of events
No way.
never being leaked.
No way. I wanna be wrong, but I'm gonna have to have evidence to
So
make me change my
there
mind.
have been lunar orbiters from India and Japan that have circumnavigated the moon and taken photos from those landing sites. And you can see equipment, footpads, and rover jets. Those are fake too.
Yeah.
The
What
only
else you got?
the only thing I can say is I do find it interesting that we've taken a 50-year hiatus.
Right.
You didn't even use that argument.
Well, I mean, this is the obvious one because
Oh,
it's
okay.
not just us. Like China's not gone back up. Japan's not gone. Like I really do think that if we were able to go in the 1960s, China could go now. Japan could go now,
Well, they
and
could go now,
they would.
but why has anyone said why they're not?
I don't know, but I would get there, and I would spray paint my name on the flag that's up there and be like, haha, come back and get it. This
Yeah, I think this all goes back to it is an outrageous technical problem. It costs an extraordinary amount of money, and we are by and large the richest country in the world. And I think ethically, some of those countries haven't done it because they can't afford to.
maybe, but they have the
Because
technology to
again,
do it.
we kind of decimated Japan for a while. They had a lot of other things to
Yeah,
get right first. And
and they've done it.
China's really only sprung into be a world superpower in the last 20 years.
Yeah. Hey, I have another conspiracy about China, that I gotta share with you, not on the podcast. So,
Oh,
we'll
oh,
talk about it later.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, folks, here it is. Did we go to the moon in 1969? Did we not? You've heard Scott's thoughts. You've heard
And
Sarah's
they're
hot
amazing
take.
thoughts. But the truth is that whether we went in 1969 and then stopped going in 1972 or not, we're in space right now, and
Yeah.
we're gonna go around the moon and come back. I mean, that's pretty cool. The 4 Artemis astronauts are going to be farther away from Earth than any other human has ever been. This is incredible.
It is
It's
incredible.
amazing.
Nerd alert.
Yeah.
Well, we, as always, love hearing from you guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Tomfoolery and Hullabaloo. Tune in next time.
Who knows what we're talking about?
Oh, no, it could be anything. Could be more conspiracy theories
I
because
mean,
that was
honestly,
that was eye-opening
I
just
never
now.
thought that we were gonna talk about this, so I'm just glad that we did. I'm glad that we got it in.
Well, I'm glad we're headed back to the moon too. I can't wait for our kids to get to experience this because again, we grew up in the desert of space
Right.
exploration and we're getting to see it through our kids' eyes
Were you
now.
born after the Challenger explosion?
I was born in 84. I think it was 86 when Challenger exploded.
Yeah, and then, I would think I was in high school or middle school when Columbia exploded over Texas.
Right.
So, crazy. So that's what we had.
Yeah. Disaster. I didn't want anything to do with that, being
Yeah.
an astronaut. Seemed safer in the 60s.
I like that you said that we're going back to the moon. Let's just say that we're going to the moon. We're
Okay.
going to the moon.
Well, we'll see you guys next time on Tomfoolery.
And hullabaloo.